Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. The following video will contain spoilers from the Flash episode titled Rupture. For those of you who don't want to be ruined or spoiled for anything, stop watching now. For everybody else, hey guys, Dave here. Okay, this is the next morning that I'm recording this review video. It's all I've got time to do before I go into work, so I'll try to upload it a little later. Anyway, okay, so we've got bad guys on the rise here, and suddenly the Flash starts to appear, cutting in and out and flickering, and it looks like the guys from Star Labs have figured out how to do a Flash hologram to at least try to scare the crap out of the bad guys, which seems to work temporarily, but Wells insists that the only way to get Barry his speed back and to fix all this is to redo the particle accelerator explosion and give him his powers back. So, yeah, Barry's really hesitant. He needs time to think about this. Meanwhile, Cisco gets a vibe that he sees his brother. He's a bit concerned, so he tries to reach out and talk to him. And things don't seem to go very well. He manages to see his brother at a bar, trying to reach out to see how he's doing. And they're still the clashing. They've been fighting ever since. Even back when the Snart kidnapped them both. So it's just butting heads. Meanwhile, Zoom makes a move and goes to the Central City PD, effectively ready to kill all the policemen, but he also takes Caitlin with him, and she managed to convince him to get them to clear out instead of just snapping necks. I'll get to that later. So he managed to get him out. Caitlin is a prisoner at the police station. The police end up joining up at Jitters to try to make his a power base, and Zoom starts doing the same thing he did on Earth 2, dismantling the police force, getting a hold of other metahumans, is trying to make a big power play here. Well, Barry has some things to think about, so he goes to see his dad, Henry. He reveals everything that's been going on about how he lost his speed, how Jay Garrick tricked him, and Henry drops a big bombshell. The last name Garrick is a family name. It was his mother's maiden name. Could we be talking Joan Garrick here? That could be huge. I mean, that could be some big stuff. Anyway, so Henry comes back to Central City to try to help figure out what's going on here, what to do. Some people are with Wells as far as trying to recreate the accident to give him his powers back. Henry is against it, and it comes down to what kind of person does Barry want to be. And also, even Ira starts coming out of the woodwork with how she really feels about him, feeling that maybe they are destined to be together, and no matter what happens, she's going to be there waiting for him. So that's a big thing. Meanwhile, as Cisco and his brother take off, a new villain comes out, Rupture. And apparently he's been told by Zoom that Vibe killed his brother. So it's Cisco's brother's doppelganger from Earth 2. And it's all kind of hectic. They manage to just barely get the heck out of there. Rupture and Zoom meet up at the police station while Caitlin manages to try to find a way to try to reach out to some people. Rupture is told to go to Jitters and kill all the cops there as a sign. Caitlin manages to get a hold of a cell phone that was in one of the evidence boxes, put out a call saying that this is going to happen, and Cisco and the Star Labs gang goes to try to stop this without the powers of the Flash. So they have the hologram set up again, and they manage to get plan a trap for Rupture. They manage to distract him a bit. The Flash hologram starts getting them going, and eventually the cops manage to take Rupture down and separate him from his weapon, which gives him his powers. Unfortunately, Zoom shows up, kills Rupture the same way he did his brother. A news crew shows up, and Zoom snaps the neck of everybody except Joe West, Captain Singh, and Barry. Everyone else gets just snapped at the drop of a hat. He's a monster, man. He's a frickin' monster. And he says, look, the only reason I'm keeping you alive is because of Caitlin, but that's not going to last very long if you keep this crap up. Zoom also figures out what Caitlin has done and feels like he's been betrayed and all this. There's a lot of anger there. But at this point, Barry feels incredibly desperate and decides to agree to go ahead and try to go for recreate the accident. Wells puts him in this device. They start to get things going. They pump him full of the same chemicals that Barry was working at the CSI lab. With Cisco's help and the Weather Wizard wand, he manages to summon on some lightning, channel it through there. The explosion goes on. Meanwhile, they had the idea a while back in the earlier episode to keep Jesse and Wally locked up in the frickin' time vault because they thought that, well, they don't want them getting taken or manipulated again anyway. So they're stuck in the frickin' time vault. They eventually figure a way out. They're going through there just as the particle accelerator X is being recreated again. And something big happens. We see lightning coming down. We see Zoom freaking out, running to Star Labs. We see the energy rush happen. We see a huge particle wave hit Barry. Also, going through Star Labs, it blows Jesse and Wally away. So, I don't know. Do you think this is going to give them powers now? But what's worse, we start to see parts of flesh evaporate from Barry until he eventually just vaporized. All that's left is a charred remains of the Flash costume. Zoom shows up. He says, "You thought you could recreate the Flash's powers? Look, you killed him." So it ends there. And, I mean, that was a serious drop-your-jaw moment. Now, next episode, I believe, is titled The Runaway Dinosaur. And it looks like Wells is convinced that he's not dead. That he's going to try to use Cisco to try to find wherever part of the universe or Speed Force Barry might be in. And given the weird visions that we see that Barry's having in his perspective, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually is in the Speed Force. So it looks like we may have to have him pulled from the Speed Force and possibly seeing the emergence of a couple new superhumans with speed powers. So this could be cool. Fingers crossed. I mean, it started off a little on the slow side, but it definitely had moments of drama, comedy, and just absolute fear. Zoom is a beast, man. He is a monster. And this is a guy that is truly freaking frightening. And you know, we only got 3 more episodes to go this season, which is going to suck, because I think I work next Tuesday night, so I'm going to miss The Flash next week. I have to watch it the next day, so I have to try to avoid spoilers. The life of a reviewer and fan. Anyway, all in all, I liked it, but there's going to be a lot of screaming in here. And depending on, seeing as how the movie, not the movie, but how the show ended, with working 16-hour days, I think that the last scene in last night's episode of The Flash proves that Grant's feeling a little burnout. So, what did you guys think? Please like, comment, subscribe, share, pass this bad boy around, and I like to talk more about it. So, until next time, Dave signing off. Peace. Yum yum.